Oh, yeah. Is it Thursday already? All right. Ryan Gosling, not Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Gosling coming to Star Wars. How many times are we going to call him Ryan Reynolds today? We'll find out. Ryan Gosling coming to Star Wars in the next Star Wars movie after The Mandalorian and Grogu. Also, The Mandalorian and Grogu gets a massive update. And Stinky the Hutt might be a gladiator? Also, some Andor Season 2 news, as that is only a few months away. We got a lot to get into and not a lot of time. So let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? Okay, chat. Yes, the big news story is Ryan Gosling, not Reynolds. Ryan Gosling is coming to the Star Wars universe, or at least he is in talks to come to the Star Wars universe in Shawn Levy's Star Wars movie. So what do we know about Shawn Levy's movie? Well, not much. But we do know that it's not connected to the Skywalker Saga, and we know a little bit more information, which we'll get into in just a second. But also, Stinky the Hutt, who has been confirmed to be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, is being voiced by Jeremy Allen White, who's from The Bear. He's going to be a gladiator? Honestly, the more and more we find out about this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, the more and more confused I get. So we're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about it. And of course, Andor Season 2, we got the director's list for each episode, or at least each episode arc. And we'll go over that as well. We got a lot of news. A lot of news today on this fine Thursday afternoon. But first, before we get into any of it, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Shall we? All right. Kenobi's Corner, what is up? Starship 66 in the house. Adam, what is up? 50 Thunder, how we doing? Rose, what is up? Tafari Tano, how we doing? Robert in the house. Chris, what is up? Fearless, how we doing? Brandon Baker in the house. Haja, what is up? West, how we doing? Bryant, what is up? B-Man, how we doing? If I missed you, Wookie Talks, what is up? If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Star Wars Santa, what's up? Let's give everybody a nice little...
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so I think we have to start with the thumbnail and the title of this video, and that is Ryan Gosling. I think that's where we should start, so let's start there, shall we? First things first, let's ask the chat. What do we think about Ryan Gosling coming to Star Wars? Again, right now, it is just a possibility. Fix that. Nope. Good. Okay. Right now, it is just a rumor. It is just a possibility. Negotiations are going on. Hopefully, the negotiations are quick. But what do we think? Do we like it? Do we not like it? What do we think? Actually, I'm going to put up a poll here. I'm going to put up a poll because some people have very, very strong opinions when it comes to Ryan Gosling, which I was shocked by. But let's put up a poll. And by the way, if you haven't smashed a freaking like on the stream, that's what the last poll said. So get on it. Okay, let's do this. Do you want Ryan Gosling in Star Wars? We'll just put it like that. Yes or no? What do we think, chat? Yes or no? Now, here's the deal. His role is going to be in the next Star Wars movie after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is pretty important. Because we were wondering, well, after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, what's next? What's after that? You have the Rey movie. You have the Dawn of the Jedi movie. But no, neither of those are going to be next. As this report is saying, Shawn Levy Star Wars movie, which is neither the Rey movie nor the Dawn of the Jedi movie, because that's James Mangold. Shawn Levy's movie is next after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So let's read this, shall we? This report first came from The Hollywood Reporter, so let's read it from them, straight from the source. Star Wars shocker. Ryan Gosling in talks to star in Shawn Levy's Star Wars movie. Exclusive. All right. So if you don't know who these two guys are, this on the left is Ryan Gosling. I will call him Ryan Reynolds 1,000 times on today's live stream. It is not because I think he's Ryan Reynolds. It's just they're both their names are Ryan, and I get confused sometimes, chat. Sometimes I get confused. All right. But Ryan Gosling is here on the left. If you don't know who he is, I mean, you've been living under a rock your entire lives. He's just Ken. We know it, okay? On the right here, however, you might not know this guy. He is Shawn Levy. Who is Shawn Levy? Great question. Shawn Levy is a director. He's directed many movies you've probably seen before. The Deadpool movies, Deadpool and Wolverine, making well over $1 billion last summer. He's worked with Ryan Reynolds a lot. That's, again, why I'm going to get these two confused quite a bit. He worked on The Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds and Free Guy, I think, on Netflix, I believe. Free Guy. So, yeah, Shawn Levy. So these are the two guys you got to know while we read this article. Ryan Gosling is heading to the great galaxy far, far away. The three-time Oscar nominee, is in negotiations to top line the Star Wars feature project that will be directed by Deadpool and Wolverine filmmaker Shawn Levy. Details on any Star Wars project are harder to acquire than the plans for the orbital planet killer, the Death Star, and this one is no exception. Lucasfilm is very good at one thing, and that is, or they're very good at a lot of things, but one specific thing is keeping a secret. And this is no exception to that rule. Shawn Levy has been developing his Star Wars feature film since 2022. And Jonathan Troper, who collaborated with Levy on films such as This Is Where I Leave You and The Adam Project, which again features Ryan Reynolds, not Ryan Gosling, but they have been working on the script for over a year now. Shawn Levy is also producing a feature via his 21 Laps banner, joining Star Wars' stewards Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. So they've been working on a script for over a year now, and it seems as though Lucasfilm has the most confidence in this film that is being produced or being directed by Shawn Levy. They have the most confidence in this film to be the next one to go into production. Not the Rey movie and not the Dawn of the Jedi movie, but this movie. And it's the one we know the least about of those three. So, it is unclear when Shawn Levy's project is set in the Star Wars timeline. Keep that in mind. Star Wars stories have run the gamut of hundreds of years, detailing the ongoings of the Galactic Republic turned dictatorship turned rebellion. It's also unclear if it concerns Jedi and their enemies, the Sith. So we don't even know what this movie's about, and we don't know on the timeline where it takes place. However, it is to be unconnected to the so-called Skywalker Saga. So the Skywalker Saga ranges from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, all the way until The Rise of Skywalker, which is Episode 9. All that story inside of that, centering around the Skywalkers, Anakin, Luke, Leia, Ben Solo, all of that story is considered the Skywalker Saga. Now, this story, created by Shawn Levy with possibly Ryan Gosling, is unconnected to the so-called Skywalker Saga. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's hundreds, if not thousands of years away from the story, because it could be. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. It could be a story that takes place right after Episode 9, or it could be a story that takes place right before Episode 1. It just isn't connected to the story of those characters. That's more so what it's talking about here. Okay? Okay. The story is centered on well-established and beloved characters, the saga, that the Skywalker Saga is the story centered around well-established characters like Luke Skywalker and his father, Anakin. That is the Skywalker Saga, and that is what it's not going to be connected to. It is meant to be a standalone movie, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. Lucasfilm has no comment on any impeding details or project details. So a standalone movie makes me think of Solo, a Star Wars story, and Rogue One. Those are the last two standalone Star Wars and only two standalone Star Wars we've ever seen. So is this going to be the next one where it's just one-off movie? I don't know. Is this going to be the new story for the next trilogy? I don't know. but Ryan Gosling starring in a Star Wars movie doesn't seem like a one-off thing to me. He's a pretty big star. If you're getting him over to the Star Wars galaxy, you're probably going to want to keep him around for a little bit. But that's just me. Let's keep going. A Broom Boy movie. Imagine Ryan Gosling was just older Broom Boy. That would be crazy. But I doubt it. Sources say that Gosling's development is a late in the game move for Shawn Levy's movie schedule. The filmmaker is eyeing to direct the boy band movie set up at Paramount, so he's directing a different movie first, which would have him reunite with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. But Gosling's interest and involvement suddenly shifted the Star Wars project into hyperspace, pushing it forward quite a bit. If a deal makes the project would continue to fly like the Millennium Falcon, becoming not only Shawn Levy's next movie, but also the next Star Wars movie to go into production, with cameras potentially rolling this fall. Mandalorian and Grogu movie has wrapped in mid-December and will release on May 22nd, 2026. We do have some Mandalorian and Grogu news today regarding this movie and the plot of the movie with Stinky the Hutt and why the hell am I blanking on his name? Embo, the bounty hunter. We do have a lot of news regarding that movie we'll get to in a little bit, but this is pretty important. If this deal closes, if this is true, and Ryan Gosling, whoa, what the bleep? Hang on, chat. What the hell was that? And Ryan Gosling is going to be starring in the next Star Wars project. That means that this will not only be Shawn Levy's next movie, but it will be Star Wars' next movie to go into production, possibly in this fall. That means the Rey movie, nope. Dawn of the Jedi with James Mangold, nope. Shawn Levy's directed Ryan Gosling, starring Star Wars movie. That would be next, which is pretty wild because they announced this Shawn Levy movie, or the rumor came out in 2022, a long time ago. We're in 2025 now. That was 3 years ago. But at the last Star Wars Celebration, which was in 2023, 3 movies that were announced were The Mandalorian and Grogu, or actually, sorry, no, it wasn't. Mandalorian and Grogu wasn't announced until 6 months or 8 months later. The 3 movies that were announced were Dave Filoni's MandoVerse movie, the Rey movie, and the Dawn of the Jedi. Now, of those 3 movies, none of them are going to be the first movie back into theaters, and none of them will even be the second. That's pretty wild. So 3 movies were announced 2 years ago at Star Wars Celebration, and none of those 3 movies have even started production 2 years later. And not only that, they're not even going to be the first of 2 Star Wars movies to come back to the big screen. That's pretty wild. With that being said, however, I am still very excited for Dave Filoni's movie, and that makes sense why it's not going to be next. He still has to do Ahsoka Season 2 first. I'm very excited for the Dawn of the Jedi movie. I'm interested and excited, I guess, not as excited for the other 2 projects, but I'm excited for the Rey movie to see where they go with that character and what the story brings after the sequel trilogy. But it makes sense to go with The Mandalorian and Grogu first, and hopefully with a guaranteed win and a guaranteed success with Ryan Gosling in a Star Wars movie, directed by Shawn Levy, who's an incredibly hot director right now, coming off the backs of a $1 billion movie with Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's keep going. Ryan Gosling's boarding on the movie will mark a rare occasion in a Star Wars feature, bringing aboard an actual A-lister. Usually when it comes to Star Wars movies, when you think about the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, the sequel trilogy, even Solo and Rogue One, the main characters of the movies are nobodies. Hayden Christensen, a nobody. Mark Hamill, a nobody. Harrison Ford, nobody. Carrie Fisher, nobody. Daisy Ridley, nobody. John Boyega, nobody. Adam Driver, nobody. Diego Luna, nobody. Alden Ehrenreich, nobody. So they always usually star the movies with nobodies for a specific reason, I feel, because you're trying to convey that this place exists in a galaxy far, far away. So you want to be introduced to these characters that you don't have a prior notion of in the real world. They don't want you to be like, oh, that's Harrison Ford. He's Indiana Jones. If Indiana Jones came out before Star Wars. That's just my example. Okay, let's say Ryan Gosling. That's Ken. He's just Ken. That's the issue that they don't want to have. And that's the issue that they're probably going to find here. Okay, as somebody said, Alec Guinness, 50 Thunder says Alec Guinness is somebody. That's true. They do bring on big actors as side characters. Not that Obi-Wan's really a side character. He is, but he isn't. Obi-Wan in the original films is more of a side character. He's not one of the main trio, that's for sure. So side characters. Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson, Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan in the original trilogy. You have that happen every once in a while. Bigger actors being in Star Wars. That's just bound to happen. But they're usually side characters and not the main ones. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But where was I? Ryan Gosling being on board would be a rare occasion. Again, rare occasion. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but a rare occasion in Star Wars features with an A-lister. The original trilogy featured up-and-comers and British veterans, including actors like Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and turned them into household names. The prequels followed a similar model, although The Phantom Menace did bring in Liam Neeson. Oh yeah, Liam Neeson, true. To what now? Buttress the ranks following his Oscar nomination for Schindler's List. The Disney era saw J.J. Abrams also introduce a corp of rising talent, even as it brought back some original stars. Well, it had to because they're original characters from the original trilogy. But yes, it did bring back the original trio. But it did introduce Daisy Ridley as Rey, John Boyega as Finn, and Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. So, in a bit of a synchronicity, Ryan Reynolds was name checked for a Star Wars part back in 2013. The rumor spread online that he and Zac Efron were being eyed to play in J.J. Abrams for a familiar part, and that may have eventually become Kylo Ren. Interesting. So at some point, it was rumored that Zac Efron and Ryan Reynolds, or Gosling, come on, chat, Ryan Gosling. Jesus. Ryan Gosling were eyed to play Kylo Ren at one point for the sequel trilogy. Gosling, that is. Not Reynolds, but Gosling, that is. Yes. So they were eyed to play Kylo Ren back in 2013, but that never happened. They got a lesser-known actor by the name of Adam Driver, who now is a big-time actor. Usually that's what happens. Star Wars turns you into a household name, but at first you weren't one. So you're usually known for that Star Wars character rather than anybody else. Yeah. But now he's back. The actor last seen starring in Universal's Fall Guy is repped by CAA and Sloan, Offer. He recently rapped on Project Hail Mary? Sure. Another spacefaring movie, which hails from Phil Lord and Chris Miller. There you have it. So with this all being said, chat, what do we think? Are we excited for Shawn Levy's Star Wars movie? The problem with this news is, yes, it tells us that Ryan Gosling might be starring in the movie, and it might be the next Star Wars project to go into production, possibly starting to film at the end of this year. But it doesn't tell us anything about the movie. It doesn't tell us where it takes place in the timeline, and it leaves us with way too many questions. So is Ryan Gosling and Shawn Levy enough to get hyped up for this movie? To me, I would say yes. Ryan Gosling is an A-tier, A-list actor in Hollywood. If a guy like him signs on to a movie because he's read the script, that means the script is pretty damn good, because he doesn't probably take projects lightly. And Shawn Levy, his track record speaks for itself. Let's look up Shawn Levy's portfolio here, or discography. Shawn Levy movies. Shawn Levy, it speaks for itself. His early days were doing like rom-coms and stuff like that. He did freaking Cheaper by the Dozen, The Pink Panther. He even did all the Night in the Museum movies. All of them, I believe. Yeah, all of them. He did The Internship, which I think is an extremely underrated movie. He did Real Steel. I mean, come on. Give me a 1 into the chat if you've seen the movie Real Steel. Chat. Real Steel with Hugh Jackman. Underrated movie. Underrated movie. But in recent years, he has done big blockbuster movies like Deadpool Wolverine, but even on Netflix and wherever. I don't know where Free Guy is. Oh, Disney Plus. With Ryan Reynolds doing Free Guy and The Adam Project, which is on Netflix. Both great movies. So he's done some incredible work, to say the least. If you haven't seen Real Steel, what, and it sucked? What? What? That's crazy. Real Steel is extremely underrated. It still holds up to this day too, and it's from 2011. But I'd go watch that in The Internship if you haven't seen that either. But Free Guy and Adam Project are great too. But with all that being said, with a name like this attached to the project to direct it, it gives me hope that it will be a great movie. Now, with Ryan Gosling attached to it, again, it gives me hope that it could be a great movie. The problems I have with this news, and there are a few, are one, we don't know anything about the project. So with where it could take place in the timeline, it could be an Old Republic movie, and that would be incredible, and it would be awesome. Or it could be a sequel movie, and people are already going to be turned off by it because it's post-sequel world. However, the biggest thing is, will it be a standalone movie? Because to me, I love Rogue One. Don't get me wrong, Rogue One is one of my top 3 favorite Star Wars movies of all time. And Solo's good too. It's a solid Star Wars film. But a standalone movie usually means it's either going to be Solo or Rogue One. And Rogue One made over $1 billion easy and is a top tier movie. But Solo lost money. It lost money. And what Solo did, and yes, you could argue that it was The Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker being around Solo, and I would agree with you. And Solo was released in the same month as Avengers Infinity War. I will agree with you. But it lost money. It's a movie about Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, Chewbacca, and it lost money. So even Ryan Gosling, even Shawn Levy, even it being titled a Star Wars film is not enough at this point. So it has to be an incredible movie like Rogue One, or it should be the beginning of a new trilogy. If it's going to take place in a brand new place in the timeline, why not make it a new trilogy? Introduce a brand new cast of characters, have Ryan Gosling usher in the new generation of Star Wars, a new chapter in the Star Wars timeline. Why not? It will be very, very interesting to see where they go with this story, because we don't know where it's going to take place or what it's going to be about. But that's what scares me and excites me at the same time, because it could be an Old Republic project. It could be a High Republic project. It could be a Dawn of the Jedi project. I doubt it, but it could be something pre-prequels, or it could be something post-sequels, which in and of itself is going to anger a lot of fans, I do believe. Yeah. Yeah. But tell me what you think in the chat. Is this good news? Is Shawn Levy and Ryan Gosling teaming up to make the next Star Wars movie after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Is that good news? Tell me what you think, chat. Let's check out the poll, actually, too, while we're at it. Interesting. 66% of you, nice, order 66. 66% of you say yes, you want Ryan Gosling in Star Wars, but that means that still 34% say no, which is interesting. There's some fans who really, really like having A-tier actors in Star Wars, and there's some fans that don't. There's a formula to it that has seemingly worked for all these years. But let's see. What do we think, Chad? What do we think? Star Wars Order says, I hope it's either before The Phantom Menace or after The Rise of Skywalker. I think that's probably where it's going to be. Because the only information we have is that it's unconnected to the Skywalker Saga. So it would make sense to assume that it being unconnected to the Skywalker Saga means that it's probably not going to be in the Skywalker Saga either. Yeah. Indeed. It's going to be a movie set 200 years after the Skywalker Saga. Ryan Reynolds is a retired Jedi with a wife and son. Him and his son are pulled into a secret related to the Jedi. Totally Levy vibes. Yes, but I mean, that's a very specific and bold take right there. I would love to see that. If Ryan Gosling is a retired, so to speak, Jedi 200 years after the Skywalker Saga, I'd be totally down for that. Here's the thing. 200 years after the Skywalker Saga, after the Rise of Skywalker, means you can do anything. You can do anything, and there's only one character that should be in the movie, and that is Grogu. Yeah. Justin says, we just need Keanu Reeves in Star Wars. Well, that's the same argument here. Yes, I get it. Keanu Reeves has been fan cast as Darth Revan for years and years and years, but he's 60 years old. Is he really going to play a young Revan? I doubt it. So it's the same argument here. Keanu Reeves is just another A-list actor. Yeah. Jordan says, guys, Henry as Grand Moff Tarkin would be a great cast. Henry? Who Henry? Who is Henry? Freddie says, I want Ryan Reynolds to star because it would be cold to see him in it. Or cool to see him in it, maybe? I agree with you. I think Ryan Gosling in Star Wars, it makes sense. Give me a 1 into the chat if you've seen Blade Runner, what is it called, 2099 or 2049, something like that. Have you seen the newer Blade Runner movie? The new one with Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford? To me, Gosling feels very Harrison Ford-esque. Like, if he comes to Star Wars, it'll almost remind me of a Han Solo type character. It's 2049? That's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah. 2099 is Spider-Man. But yeah. He is a very smuggler-esque type of character. So if I were to see Ryan Gosling in Star Wars, it probably wouldn't be as a Jedi or a Sith. It would likely be as a smuggler or a bounty hunter, maybe even. Yeah. Jude Law is pretty famous, and he was good in Skeleton Crew. That's true, too. We're coming off the backs of a show called Skeleton Crew that starred, well, I guess it starred the 4 kids, but it also starred, like, Jude Law is a main character in that. Jod is a main character in the show. He's the main villain. So, I agree with you. They're coming off the backs of a show that starred an A-tier, A-list actor, Jude Law. And it worked amazingly. I mean, Jude Law's performance in that show is one of the things that makes it that good of a series. Yeah. Yeah. Don't mention Henry from that last live stream. Oh my God. Yeah, definitely need more Jude Law too. Well, Jude Law's character hopefully will show up again. He's a Force user in a time where there's not many of those in this MandoVerse era, so it would be cool to see him again. I just don't know where, but yeah. Yeah. Gosling would do well in a one-off like Lando. I don't know. I don't see it being that way. I feel like from here on out, they're going to pick and choose their projects very wisely because they learned their lesson from the sequel trilogy and from Solo. So the reason that it's been already now 6 years since we've gotten a Star Wars movie is because they are stepping back, looking at it from afar as to what is important and what should be made into a movie. And they came to the conclusion that there are 3 places they want to explore. And those 3 places are the MandoVerse, which we're getting the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and a Dave Filoni Mando movie, which is likely going to be 2 of a trilogy, 2 of 3 movies. They saw that the Dawn of the Jedi is the perfect spot to go because if you go to the Dawn of the Jedi, first of all, you get to explore the first ever Force users, the first ever lightsaber, and all that fun stuff. The divide between the Jedi and the Sith, which is great. But you also get to usher in the Old Republic from there. Like you go from the Dawn of the Jedi into the Old Republic from there, which would be cool. But they also saw the post-sequel world. The Rey movie, which the latest we've heard is that Rey will play like an Obi-Wan Kenobi type of character, which is just going to be the mentor for the next generation, which makes sense. You're ushering in what's to come after the sequel trilogy. So they chose those two time periods because that's where you want the future to go. And it's a possibility for 3 new trilogies. So this Shawn Levy movie being thrown into the mix is a little strange to me because where it takes place on the timeline is extremely important. If it is post-sequel, then it's going to be the first post-sequel movie, not the Rey movie, which is important. And if it's just thrown in the Old Republic or the High Republic era, then it's going to complicate things. I don't see them greenlighting this and pushing this movie up if it's not going to be more than just a one-off movie. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think every project moving forward is going to be a bigger role. You know? Ryan Gosling and Keanu Reeves in a Star Wars movie, that would be insane. That would be insane, yeah. Yeah. Anthony, what's up? Says, hey, Mike, I'm having a tough day. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So I'm glad you're here. Well, I'm glad you're here. And I hope we can lighten your day a little bit. I'm excited for the potential project, but I don't want to see it really connect to anything sort of Rey or sequel trilogy related. I get that. I get that. And I don't think it will, honestly. This Ryan Gosling, Shawn Levy, I don't think it will. Yeah. 200 years after Rise is the sweet spot? Maybe. Maybe. Here's the deal. Grogu, which we're going to talk about because we're going to talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Grogu is the future of Star Wars. He's everywhere. Look down. He's on your shirt right now. Actually, it's just in jarring on my shirt today. He's everywhere, though. Right there, eating some cookies. So Grogu is the future. He's a species that can live up to 900 years old. And right now in the MandoVerse, he's 50. That means for the next 850 years after The Mandalorian, Grogu, in theory, unless he gets killed off, will be around and will be alive. So I feel like if they're going to do any project in the next 800 years after the sequel trilogy, it has to involve Grogu in some sort of way. And it has to be different from what Yoda did. Because yes, Yoda might be his father, and they're the same species, but he can't just have the same exact story. He can't just be the same guy. There has to be a different thing going on. And already he's different. He's a Mandalorian. He's not even a Jedi. He leaves Luke to go join the Mandalorian. Hashtag kill Grogu. What? No. 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 Where was I? So, with that being said, if you are going to make this Shawn Levy movie a post-sequel movie, it has to involve Grogu. It just has to. I mean, am I wrong? Ryan says, did you see the IG post about the female Jedi in Skeleton Crew? Her scenes ended up getting cut, but she was Jod's master. Yes and no. Let me pull this up. Let's put an end to this, or an end cap, I should say, on this whole Jod master dealio here. Is this just the whole interview here? Yeah, it is. Fuck. All right, I need a time code on this. Star Wars Santa, you still in the chat? Balls. All right, never mind. So, what was revealed by the creators of the Skeleton Crew series, Chris Ford and John Watts, was that the Jedi that scene was cut was actually not related to Jod. And that's why when they said in that interview they weren't really lying. Santa, do you know when the timestamp for that was in that hour-long thing? It's 7:30. Okay. Okay. Let's watch this.
Or
So this right here is Chris Ford. He's one of the showrunners of Skeleton Crew right there in the middle. And these two people have him on their podcast.
have that be like a twist, snappy moment if we just couldn't use it.
Yeah, sorry.
Exactly right. What people have figured
Sure.
out. She
really?
was actually played a Jedi who
So he's talking about the girl, I forget her name now, but the girl who posted on Instagram about her deleted role as a Jedi in Skeleton Crew.
was going to be in like a hologram call that the supervisor was going to play back for them. You know, instead of him,
Oh,
he just says like,
wow. Okay.
"Oh, but like we got a call that the Jedi were traitors," and so we were kind of going off the show don't tell thing. We actually had like he was like, and this like here's a Jedi who called in, and she was like actually in the middle of defending herself from clones while she was calling in and like being like something's going on.
I'm actually
Um,
glad you cut that because I love how he's like, "You're lying because the Jedi are evil."
Right, exactly.
It's
So
just so
like,
much impactful. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So what's crazy is like she did an amazing job,
Sure.
but because of our finding things in the edit or like that part should have just been faster or
So here's the deal, chat. I've said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. Nina Nawa didn't exist. I know because a lot of people came to me and told me that Nina Nawa would exist. They told me they work for Lucasfilm, all this stuff. You really learn who's truthful and who's not when a character like Nina Nawa never existed. And there was a lot of stuff brought into question when this actress posted online that she played a small role in Skeleton Crew as a Jedi. So people were like, Mike, Nina Nawa did exist. Blah, 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 blah. Well, it wasn't Haley Webb. And Chris Ford right here explains that it wasn't. So the character that was supposed to be played here was supposed to be a hollow message that the supervisor was going to show to Jod that the Jedi are now evil, which doesn't really make sense when you think about it because the Jedi calling in to say that something's wrong fighting against stormtroopers or clone troopers doesn't really make sense. So the scene was eventually cut, but that was what was going on. The Jedi was not Jod's master at all, and she was just the one calling in to say that Order 66 was happening, and the clones have turned on the Jedi. So that puts an end to that. I've hoped that all this is over and done with because I've definitely cut ties with those people. And yeah, that's the deal, yeah. There you go. So all this has finally come to a head where this girl who posted on Instagram about being in Star Wars and her character was cut, it was never Nina Nawa. It was never Haley Webb. It was this mysterious character that was going to show a hologram from the supervisor, and that was it. And it was cut because it doesn't really make sense in the show at all. Thank you, Star Wars Santa, for that. Sent to the Discord. If you guys are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. So go join it immediately. All right. Well, let's get back to the topic at hand here. Ryan Gosling, Shawn Levy. All right. All right. Aggressively Relaxing, what's up, says, don't let money monsters pretend that marketing budgets aren't just tax frauds. Wait, what are we talking about here? I don't know what that's referring to, but okay. Okay. Anthony says, Mike, I have a strong feeling that some of those unseen materials will definitely be used in like a Tales of the Jedi or a Hidden Path show. In other parts of the MandoVerse, maybe even. Probably not. Just based off of the description of that, Explore the Force, what's up? Just based off of the description of the scene, it seems like it was just cut and it probably won't be used. It seems like a very, very small scene. A hologram of a Jedi probably fighting against one or two clones because that's all they needed to make the hologram realistic. And that was it. It's probably a couple seconds. So I think it's gone forever. Yeah. So it wasn't Jod's master? No, it was not. It was some random Jedi who was calling the supervisor and telling them that something is wrong. Yeah. Indeed. Okay, but back to the topic at hand. Ryan Gosling in Star Wars, yes or no? What do we think? Are we excited for this Shawn Levy project? On a scale of 1 to 10, tell me, how excited are you for Shawn Levy's Star Wars movie that could possibly star Ryan Gosling in this unknown time period in the Star Wars galaxy that is unconnected to the Skywalker Saga? How excited are you for that movie? Honestly, it's hard to put a very high score on that because we know so little about the movie. Shawn Levy does get me excited. Just the name Shawn Levy directing gets me excited. Ryan Gosling, I like the guy. He's a good actor. I can get around for that. But the little knowledge that we have of this movie, it's hard to get excited for. It's hard to give a very high number. But with the director and possibly the lead star, I'd give it a solid 6, maybe 7. Maybe. I need to know when it takes place. I need to know what happens in the movie. But right now, we just don't. We just don't. Yeah. Yeah. Ryan says, it sucks for that actress is going to be in Star Wars, then your scene gets cut. I'd be pissed. Yeah, I'm sure she's probably upset about it. That's why she posted online. But she still got to sort of, work on Star Wars. Here's the deal. I'm sure at some point they'll use her, maybe in a background scene or whatever. Maybe they bring her back as the character that she played in some other show. I don't know. I'm sure they'll do right by her and give her some sort of scene for sure. But as I look out into the chat, it seems like we're all along the same page. We're not really that excited for this show movie, because we don't know enough about it. But here's the deal. We're about to go talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which comes out in about a year and a half or a year and 5 months. This Shawn Levy movie could be next. The next movie after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is pretty wild when you think about it. Because that movie's supposed to come out not that long after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And if it's next, like the Rey movie, at least we have some knowledge about it. The Dawn of the Jedi, we have when it's going to take place and a little bit of knowledge about it. This movie, nothing. And it could be the next one, which is pretty wild. Pretty dang wild. But we'll see. We shall see. All right. Let's switch gears a little bit over here to the crazy news that makes no sense to me. And that is the Mandalorian and Grogu news. Okay? So let's switch gears a little bit here. Let me end this poll actually too. Let me end this poll. Oh, Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 haul. I'll get to this super chat in 1 second because I did have 2 super stickers that happened before the live stream. So huge shout out to Troy for the very generous super sticker. I appreciate it. And Darth Plagueis lives. Darth Plagueis lives for the super sticker as well. I appreciate it. So yeah, and let's get to your super chat too. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla. Says, have you heard that Stinky is the new Hulk from Ragnarok? Also, can't wait for Ryan in Star Wars. Well, Ryan Reynolds is still in negotiations, so we don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I am excited for that too. But we're about to talk about this. Yes, Stinky as the Hulk from Thor Ragnarok. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. Super chats, memberships, keep the lights on over here. And I appreciate it. Did I say Reynolds again? Ah! Damn it!
Incorrect.
I meant Ryan. I almost just said Reynolds again. Gosling. What the hell is wrong with me? Ryan Gosling. Not Reynolds. Okay. But. Okay. Ryan Gosling. Gosling, yes. All right, but I appreciate the super chat, Darth Plagueis, and that leads us perfectly, actually, into the Mandalorian and Grogu news that we have to get to here. Because this is pretty damn wild, and I really don't know what to make of it. A couple weeks ago, we talked about Embo, the bounty hunter, being the main villain of this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. and I don't know what to make of that either, but we're going to talk about it. So let's do this. Let's do this. First, let's just read this. Let's read it. Exclusive. Details on Rotta the Hutt, or Stinky the Hutt, in Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. So if you are looking at this and you are as confused as I am, you're not alone. This is Stinky the Hutt with his face pasted onto the Gladiator movie. Well, he's holding a vibro blade. This is Embo with the Mandalorian. Oh no, that's just Pedro Pascal from the Gladiator standing right there. And this will all make sense in just a second. Okay. Melissa, what's up? Dominic, how we doing? Carry on, what's up? All right. The first few weeks of the new year have been a busy one for Star Wars fans, with new information about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. The second season of Ahsoka arriving online every few days, with various individuals. Some of those reporting were ones that I intend to run and would have beaten to the punch if a couple days, or in some cases, hours. So, yes, since the start of this year, because we're coming towards the end of January, since the start of this year, we have been bombarded with Star Wars news. We got the back half of the Skeleton Crew series, but we also got possibilities of seeing Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, Ariana Greenblatt, Natalie Portman as Padme Amidala, all coming into Ahsoka Season 2. We also learned that Rory McCann is being cast as Baylan Skoll in Ahsoka Season 2. And we got some pretty wild Mandalorian and Grogu news when it comes to Stinky the Hutt and Embo. And now it just gets even crazier. Okay. Stories such as Rotta the Hutt being in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Details like Sigourney Weaver's character, which we talked about last stream. She is likely to be playing a colonel of the New Republic. Possibly a spy for the remnant of the Empire, but we're not too sure yet. Rory McCann being cast as Baylan Skoll, and Embo being a part of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I've heard a lot of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie since the final weeks of filming last year, and purposefully held off on letting much out about the flick due to the release of this movie being far, far away. 15 months away as I write this. 15 months away. That's actually not that far, chat. 15 months? That's crazy. Okay. But, having said that. However, many details have quickly found their way online. So today I'm here to share a pretty minor story, but might be one that fans are interested in. And that is to share a couple more details on Rotta the Hutt, who is set to be voiced by the Bear star, Jeremy Allen White. Okay. When the news broke of White's casting, I shared that Rotta was kind of buff in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Kind of buff. Keep that in mind. Many found that tidbit a bit odd, funny and confusing, but odd. However, there's a reason that Rotta is a buff boy, and that is because of what his job is. I am told that Rotta the Hutt is a gladiator in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. A gladiator in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. What? So much like Darth Plagueis said with his very generous super chat, is Stinky the Hutt really going to be the Hulk from Thor Ragnarok? In Thor Ragnarok, you see the Hulk fight Thor in this big Colosseum-like thing. Are we going to see Rotta the Hutt as the new Hulk? What is going on with this Mandalorian and Grogu movie? What the hell is going on? I thought, from an outside perspective looking in, that we kind of knew what was going to go down in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. It had to do with something along the lines of maybe Thrawn, maybe setting up a new trilogy. We saw in the teaser trailer possibly being on Hoth with stormtroopers, AT-AT walkers. It felt like it was going to be the beginning of the heir to the Empire. However, every detail that we've received about this Mandalorian and Grogu movie has combated that. It has been about a completely different story. It has been a reworking of the Clone Wars movie to an extent. Rotta the Hutt has been captured by Embo and needs to be saved by Din and Grogu. That sounds nothing like the beginning of an Heir to the Empire trilogy. Has nothing to do with Grand Admiral Thrawn. So what are we talking about here? Rotta the Hutt is a gladiator? What? But wait, there's more. Given his profession, the buff body of Rotta makes more sense. In addition, he has some scarring on his face, likely from the battles that he's been in. Like many other gladiators, Rotta has a weapon, and I believe that that weapon is going to be a vibro blade or a vibro sword. Rotta is a far cry from the little stinky these days. So it's going to be a very different looking character than we remember from all the way back in the Clone Wars. And that makes sense because when you look at Stinky the Hutt, Stinky the Hutt from the Clone Wars, he looked like this. Wait, what? Why is this such a blurry image? He looked like this. Let's zoom in on it. He was tiny. He was a little baby. This is going to turn into a gladiator with a vibroblade? What are we talking about here, chat? Have we all lost our goddamn minds? What is this Mandalorian and Grogu movie going to even be about? This makes no sense. This character right here will be voiced by Jeremy Allen White and will be playing a gladiator with a vibroblade. Is anybody as lost as I am on this? Let's keep reading, I guess. I mentioned it in my article covering the story about Embo as the villain of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which we haven't even talked about yet. So let's get to it. Embo, the bounty hunter we see up here from the Clone Wars, right there in the middle, is going to be the main villain of this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So I could get seeing Embo in live action. It would be cool. You get to see a cool bounty hunter kind of doing his whole cool thing on screen. It would be cool. It'd be like a side mission for Din Djarin and Grogu, where the greater story is Thrawn or whatever it may be. But we're talking about him being possibly the main villain of this movie, which makes less than 0 sense to me. But let's keep going. Embo is being hired by the 2 Hutts that we see in the Book of Boba Fett, the twin Hutts from the Book of Boba Fett, to take out Rotta, which could actually, in theory, give us a appearance of Boba Fett in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which could be cool. But I hear mixed things about who is hiring Din Djarin to capture Rotta, to rescue Rotta. I wrote that I've heard that the New Republic, and I have also heard again recently from another source that that is what they believe is going to happen. I don't know if it'll be Sigourney Weaver's Colonel Bishop that hires Din Djarin or not, but it definitely seems like a possibility that that's why Sigourney Weaver's in the show. She's the one who hires, she's the one who hires Din Djarin to go save Stinky the Hutt. The things I'm saying right now don't make sense to me. They just don't. Tony, what's up? Sigourney Weaver hires Din Djarin to hunt down Stinky the Hutt from the evil bounty hunter Embo. That's your plot of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, chat. I don't know what's going on here. I don't get it. Does anybody else get this? Is anybody in the chat understanding what's going on? You love it? You love the idea? Stinky the Hutt, Gladiator, Vibroblade, captured by Embo. I get this maybe being a side story in a filler episode of The Mandalorian season 4, but as the main plot of the movie, they're trying to hide something. I could see that being very, very likely. Very, very likely. This is all just a cover up. This is all just to cover the real story that's going on that they're trying to keep a secret. I mentioned it at the top of this video in our stream, and I'll say it again. Lucasfilm is good at a lot of things. The best thing that they are very, very good at is keeping a secret. There's too much information being released about this Mandalorian and Grogu movie at this point. We went from getting nothing to all this information about Stinky the Hutt and Embo being the villain and Sigourney Weaver's character's name and profession and all that stuff. They're almost giving us too much information that we only can believe that it's not true. Or maybe that it's not true, but it's them trying to hide something greater going on in this. Let's not forget, we've seen a trailer for this movie. Now, yes, it was recorded on an iPhone and a little grainy, but we do know what the trailer looks like. It has stormtroopers or snowtroopers. It has a planet that looks like it could be Hoth. It has AT-ATs. It has Zeb Orrelios. We didn't see Embo. We didn't see anything that resembles a possibility of a gladiator-like fighting place with Stinky the Hutt. It's a 2.5-hour movie, or probably close to it, 3 hours, whatever, 1.5, I don't know, whatever. It's a 2.5-hour movie. And it's going to be about Stinky the Hutt being captured by Embo. Something ain't right here. Something is absolutely not right here. Justin says the trailer will prove us all wrong. Well, yeah, so here's the likelihood. Star Wars Celebration is in April. It's in about 3.5 months, give or take. So at that Star Wars Celebration, we're going to learn quite a bit about this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I think that's where we'll get the teaser trailer for this movie and probably a synopsis or some sort of plot details. So will this be revealed to be true? Maybe. This could be a part of the movie. Somebody brought this up in the comment section of one of my videos, and it makes perfect sense to me, actually, when you put it this way. This whole plot with Embo, Stinky the Hutt, all that stuff, this is like Return of the Jedi. This is the opening scene of Return of the Jedi. The whole point of Return of the Jedi is the second Death Star, Luke bringing Vader back to the light. It's the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. Palpatine dies, somehow dies, but he somehow returns later. And the heroes win the day. But there's a whole first 30 to an hour of that movie that is saving Han Solo from being frozen in carbonite from Jabba the Hutt. So what if this Mandalorian and Grogu movie's opening half hour is this plot, is Stinky the Hutt, is Embo, is this whole gladiator thing with Sigourney Weaver in the New Republic. And on that mission is when we get what's really going on. Something bigger happening in the Outer Rim. Hopefully, Grand Admiral Thrawn and the end of the Empire. If you put it that way, then it starts to make sense. You have to start this movie somewhere. You have to introduce the characters of Din and Grogu somehow. There are fans in the Star Wars galaxy, in the Star Wars fandom, that don't watch anything but Star Wars movies. So they know that there are some fans coming into the theaters on May 22nd, 2026, that don't even know who Din and Grogu are. Maybe they've heard of them before, maybe they've seen them before, but they don't know who they are. So you immediately have to establish who these characters are, who they work for, why they work for them, what their purpose is, and how badass they are. So if they start out on a mission to go save Stinky the Hutt from Embo, and you get to see this really cool opening fight scene of two gladiators, one being a Hutt fighting with a vibroblade, and then maybe he gets kidnapped after his fight by Embo, a bounty hunter, and you get to see Embo do some pretty cool stuff to capture him, and then you get to see Din Djarin and Grogu in action going to save Stinky the Hutt, and that's sort of your first half hour of the movie. You establish that Din and Grogu are badass, that they have these really cool opening fight scenes and all that stuff. You establish that this movie is going to be epic right from the jump, and then you can establish Grand Admiral Thrawn. You can have Din and Grogu, as they are rescuing Stinky the Hutt, happen upon a Star Destroyer. Or maybe Embo was hired by Thrawn, but I don't really know why that would happen when they clearly say here that he was hired by the Hutts. I don't know, but it seems like this can be a plot in the movie, but it's not going to be the plot of the movie. Like, there's no way we're going to sit through a 2.5, 3-hour movie of The Mandalorian where the plot of the movie is Embo as a bounty hunter and Din and Grogu have to go save Stinky the Hutt. Even that doesn't even make sense when you find out that Stinky the Hutt is a gladiator. Shouldn't the gladiator Stinky the Hutt be able to fend for himself? And why does the New Republic care? Why does the New Republic care about a gladiator that's a Hutt? What does that have to do with anything? Something here is not adding up. And although it's cool to see Embo in live action, it would be cool to see Stinky the Hutt in live action, it can't possibly be the plot of the movie. It can't. It cannot at all. Yeah. Thrawn ain't in it. There's no way. There's absolutely no world where we get a Mandalorian and Grogu movie to set up this MandoVerse after Ahsoka just perfectly set up Thrawn as the heir of the Empire, where Thrawn's not in it. I can't think of a world. I can't think of a world where that happens. Chat? Am I crazy here? Have we not spent the last 6 years setting up Ahsoka, setting up Thrawn, setting up the heir to the Empire for this incredible trilogy? And they're just not going to do it? What have we been waiting for the last 7 years? What has this all been for? Am I crazy? Am I crazy, chat? Or did I miss something? Well, the name of the movie is The Mandalorian and Grogu. Well, yeah, they're going to be the main characters of the movie. Rotta is the heir to heir to Tatooine in the criminal underworld, and that's why he's important. True, Rolo. I get where you're coming from there. I get that. It's likely that that's the reasoning for it. The twins are kidnapping Rotta because they want Rotta to be the ruler of Tatooine rather than Boba Fett. That makes perfect sense. Here's the deal. Boba Fett Season 1 showed us the twins sending the Pikes and sending Cad Bane to go claim Tatooine. To an extent. I guess the Pikes sent themselves. But it would make sense that the twins would try to replace Boba Fett with another Hutt. Yeah. Okay. Ashlar brings up a pretty good point. What does Abeloth have to do with any of this? Well, we talked about Ahsoka Season 2 last stream a little bit. And I think what's going on here is Ahsoka Season 2 is going to be quite removed from what's going on with the main Star Wars galaxy. I think Abeloth is never going to make it off Peridia. And Ahsoka and probably Anakin too will keep her there in some sort of prison. At some point, she'll escape from that prison, but for now, it would make sense and be the perfect ending almost for Anakin and Ahsoka's characters to fulfill the destiny of the Chosen One and fulfill the destiny of the light the light side of the Force, as Ahsoka is the living embodiment of the light side of the Force, and fulfill the destiny by keeping Abeloth there a prisoner, the most dangerous being in the entire universe, in the entire galaxy or galaxies, keeping her there as a prisoner, protecting the entire Star Wars galaxy from the biggest threat possible. So, with that being said, I don't think Abeloth has anything to do with anything that happens from Return of the Jedi to The Force Awakens. Will Abeloth eventually break free in a post-sequel world? Maybe. But in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, I don't see a world where Abeloth can make it to the main Star Wars universe and it not be talked about. Yeah. Where does Baylan Skoll fit into all this? Well, he is the one who's going to free Abeloth, or at least attempt to free Abeloth, and then Ahsoka, Huge Wang, Sabine, they'll have to stop him. So I'm guessing that that Baylan Skoll is going to die in Ahsoka Season 2. Yeah. What's going on Peridea then? Well, that's what I just explained. That's what Peridea is going to be, is that story for Ahsoka Season 2. I think Ahsoka Season 2 is going to end with Ahsoka and all the others still on Peridea. Maybe Huge Wang and Sabine do get back to the main Star Wars galaxy, like Ahsoka sends them back somehow. But Ahsoka has to stay because her mission is there with Anakin to keep Abeloth hidden. And maybe Sabine tells the others about Abeloth and the threat of that, but tells them that Ahsoka's handling it. Yeah. Ahsoka Season 2 is going to explain a lot, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Ahsoka Season 2 is going to be awesome, but I don't think it's really going to connect to this Mando story with Thrawn as the heir to the Empire. Well, let's get back to this. I don't see a world. I just don't see a world where we sit through 3 hours of a MandoVerse movie, a Mando and Grogu movie, where Thrawn's not either in it or at least alluded to as the heir to the Empire with a massive army growing in the Outer Rim for the heir to the Empire. It wouldn't make sense. For the last 6 years, for 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, for a season of Ahsoka, for the season of Book of Boba Fett, all you've been setting up this entire time is this event, is this to happen. So you're not going to do it? We're just going to skip over it and tell a story about Rotta the Hutt and Embo? It's not going to work. Look at the stories that you've told in a Star Wars movie before. You're talking about 3 trilogies, which tell stories, but your 2 spin-off movies, which, if that's the case, if this is really just a movie about Rotta the Hutt and Embo, you're talking about a spin-off, one-off, standalone film like Rogue One or Solo. It's nowhere close to Rogue One or Solo. As much as I love Din and Grogu, they're no Han Solo. They are no Han Solo. So a Han Solo movie right then and there is bigger and should be better. Rogue One is not the particular character type deal where you got a Han Solo, you got a Din and Grogu, but it has the story that sets up the original trilogy, and it's an incredible movie. If you put Rogue One or even Solo up against the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, if the plot is truly just Embo and Rotta the Hutt, it might be the worst Star Wars movie of all time. Now, here's the deal. I don't think it's going to be that way. I'm 99.9% sure it won't. But if it does, that's bad. I've seen some people out there say that this will be a great movie. Embo, cool little bounty hunter from the Clone Wars. It would be cool. No, we're talking about a Star Wars movie here. We're talking Star Wars. We're not talking about a filler episode of The Mandalorian. We're not talking about a filler episode of the Clone Wars. We're talking about a movie. The big screen. Hundreds of millions of dollars thrown into this. It can't be. It just can't. It just can't. But tell me what you think, chat. Am I completely off on this one? Am I completely off? Are you guys like, no, Mike, that would be the greatest movie of all time? What are we thinking, chat? What are we thinking? Tony says, this is a guy who loves Star Wars. He's always overthinking things. I'm not overthinking anything. Am I overthinking this, chat? I feel like I'm being very, very commonsensical. It's a word. Look it up. I'm being pretty commonsensical here, chat. Using my common sense. What did Ahsoka set up? What has this all been for the last 6 years? Oh my God. Oh my God. Isn't The Mandalorian and Grogu already done filming? Yes, it is. It ended filming in December. Well, like I said, and like I think Joe said earlier, why would they tell us all this? If this is the plot of the movie, if Embo is hunting down Rotta the Hutt, Stinky the Hutt, who is a gladiator with a vibroblade, and that's the entire plot of the story, they just allowed the entire plot of the next Star Wars story to be released online 15 months early. They wouldn't allow that. So that's what makes me believe that this is complete bullshit. Maybe that's a part of the story, but it's not the entire movie. And we're going to be seeing a lot more stuff that involves bigger picture things, like a Thrawn, like an Heir to the Empire, like something that sets up Snoke or the First Order or whatever comes next. And there's no way that that's the entire plot of the movie. If it's in the movie, that's great. I'd love to see Embo in live action. I'd love to see Stinky the Hutt again. As a gladiator, I don't know what's going on there, but that would be kind of cool. A Hutt as a gladiator, it'd be cool watching him slug around. But it can't be the entire plot of the freaking movie. It just can't. I don't think I'm being outlandish and unreasonable with that. And there's no way they'd let the entire plot of the movie out either. That's the biggest thing. Is the reason I know, not think, I know that this is not going to be the entire movie is because the entire plot of the movie would not be released. They would never let that happen. Yeah. There's no trailer yet. There is no trailer yet, but we got the teaser trailer from August. When was that? I think it was August. We got the teaser trailer from August where we got to see, AT-AT walkers and snow troopers. Literally nothing that made us think Embo and Rotta, and everything that made us think Empire, Heir to the Empire, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and all that. I don't know, man. I don't know. And nowhere in this is Zeb Orrelios mentioned. Nowhere in this is the Razor Crest being brought back mentioned. Yeah. It would be a cool Clone Wars episode. Yeah, it would be a cool filler episode of the Clone Wars. We're talking about a multi-$100 million budget Star Wars movie. Not a Clone Wars filler episode. Star Wars Santa says, Ahsoka Season 1 set up Ahsoka Season 2. The leaks are trying to get people to recalibrate their expectations. No Thrawn. No hate, just not happening. No hate to you, Star Wars Santa, but Thrawn will be either in the movie or alluded to in the movie. Ahsoka Season 1 did set up Ahsoka Season 2, but it also set up the entire galaxy at large in the Star Wars universe. Ahsoka Season 2 is not going to do that. And Ahsoka Season 2 also comes out after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Or at least we are led to believe that way. Yeah. Heir to the box office? I hope so. Thrawn is our connection to the Grisk, the only threat worth giving Rey that has been introduced or hasn't been introduced. Mando movie is meant to clear up the smaller stories from all Filoni's past works. But I don't think so. Because what stories would that be? Thrawn and the Grisk would be cool. I don't see the Grisk coming anytime soon, but yeah. Oh, that's not hate. It's Heir to the Empire. I get you. So you're saying that they're not setting up the Heir to the Empire at all? Ahsoka saying Heir to the Empire that Thrawn being the heir to the Empire is not going to set up heir to the Empire? I expect Thrawn to be in Ahsoka Season 2 and Filoni's movie. You don't think that this movie's going to set up Filoni's movie? Star Wars Politics says, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I have a bad feeling that these leaks are true. They say the main villain in the leaks. It's not going to be a small part in the movie. I will say that this article does say that Embo is a villain in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And I don't know if that's any hope at all. Here's the deal. Somebody is going to be wrong here. Whether it's all these leakers, whether it's me, whether it's you guys, whether it's anybody, somebody's wrong here. Either Thrawn's going to be in the movie or he's not. And if he's not, I'm going to be severely disappointed. Like, badly disappointed. Unless this movie's like the most spectacular Rogue One-esque thing I've ever seen, I'm going to be disappointed. You've connected this entire storyline for 6 years to do nothing with it in the movie? Talk about calibrating my expectations. You've done that for 6 years. You've calibrated them for me to expect Grand Admiral Thrawn to become the heir to the Empire in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, at least alluding to it. Ahsoka Season 2 is going to set up Dave's movie, I think. I think so, too. Yeah, Ahsoka Season 2 will come out after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Grogu 1, oh my God. These leaks make a lot of sense. When you think about it, the story told, it's the same story told in the Clone Wars. Yes and no. I mean, it is a very Clone Wars-esque story. But all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian have been bigger stories than this movie. You're telling me that this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, that's going to be the first Star Wars film in 7 years, the return to the movie theater, is going to be a smaller story in scope, way smaller than the 3 seasons individually of the Mandalorian and Grogu of the Mandalorian? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Why would they make the Mandalorian and Grogu movie smaller than the show? You're supposed to go big or go home. You're supposed to get to the same level as season 2 of The Mandalorian when you're going to the movie theater. And it doesn't make any sense at all. Kay says, me too, Mike. Maybe they're lowering our expectations for us to be surprised. Well, here's the deal. We got 15 months till this Mandalorian and Grogu movie comes out. Obviously, a lot more will be revealed in a teaser trailer from Star Wars Celebration. Hopefully, that teaser trailer teases at Grand Admiral Thrawn. But maybe this is all just a big over-exaggeration. Maybe by the time of April 18th to 20th, when we get this Mandalorian teaser trailer or some more information about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, all this is just either proven false or it's proven true, but it's just, like I said at the beginning of the movie, it's just the opening scenes, like a Return of the Jedi. The two things just aren't adding up at all. The teaser trailer we've already seen that was leaked out from D23 or whatever, wherever that was, and this leak of this whole thing being the main plot of the movie, it doesn't even make sense. Nowhere in this leak of Embo and Rotta and the Hutts and the crime world and the New Republic, there's no mention of Zeb. There's no mention of stormtroopers or AT-AT walkers. There's none of that. So one's either lying or they're both true, and this movie is covering a broad scope of things. Thrawn needs his own movie. I disagree with that. I don't think Thrawn needs his own movie. Usually the bad guy doesn't get his own movie. Well, to an extent. I mean, if you look at Avengers Infinity War, that's Thanos' movie. So could Thrawn be getting his own Thanos-like movie? I think so. Wouldn't it be crazy? And hear me out. If the Mandalorian and Grogu movie did its fun thing with Embo and Rotta the Hutt to start the movie, and then it turned into this big Thrawn's coming in as the heir to the Empire, almost like setting up setting up Thanos through Avengers 1, Guardians 1, where he's in there. Age of Ultron, like all that stuff, where Thanos is in the background pulling the strings. And that's what Thrawn would be doing in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And then Dave Filoni's movie, maybe it's even called The Heir to the Empire, and it's called that because it's focusing on Thrawn, could be like the Infinity War for the MandoVerse. It could be almost fully focused on Thrawn, his intentions, why he's doing what he's doing, gives you sort of a more personal opinion of Thrawn. Hopefully he's doing it for the same intentions that he had in Legends, which is for his people and not for just being a bad guy. Dave Filoni's MandoVerse movie could be focused on Thrawn quite a bit, like Infinity War is for Thanos. And that would be awesome. And then you could set up this big final movie. You've seen both sides of it. You've seen how he's the bad guy. You've seen how he has a sort of a heart, so to speak, that he cares for his people maybe. And then you have Luke come in and slice his head off in a third movie. It would be incredible. It seems like a no-brainer to me to set this up to be a trilogy. And for some reason, I'm getting a bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
That it's not going to be. It would be great. It would be absolutely fan-frickin-tastic if at Star Wars Celebration this year, we got this amazing teaser trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and it just came up as Episode 1. Well, obviously it wouldn't be Episode 1, but you know what I mean. Episode 6.25 or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but telling us that it's a part of a trilogy, that it's the first step in a trilogy, would break the internet. Imagine that. At Star Wars Celebration, they announced the newest Star Wars trilogy is kicking off with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie next year in 2026. Get your hopes up, chat, because it would be incredible. It's like when they released the teaser trailer at Celebration for Rise of Skywalker. And it showed Rise of Skywalker, and everybody went crazy because they love to see the title drop. And then it went Palpatine going, like the laugh. And people lost their minds. Palpatine returns in Rise of Skywalker? What? And that's what got people hyped up for the Rise of Skywalker for the entire year following that to lead up to the movie. So I think this year's Celebration needs to do something similar. People are, yes, excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but not really. Not really. People have a bad taste in their mouths from the Mandalorian Season 3. I like the Mandalorian Season 3, but a lot of people didn't. So you got to get people excited for this film. Excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And if you called it the beginning of a new trilogy, it gets some people excited. That's for sure. It also depends on how great the trailer is, because I think it could be pretty damn good. You got to think about it. The teaser trailer that we saw in August. How long ago was August? August, September, October, November, December, January. 6 months ago. They had fully finished scenes, or almost finished scenes, for the movie, and they had just started filming a few months before that. So imagine 6 months later, now in January, but you also got to put in February, March, and April, 9 months later, how good this trailer could be. How hyped up they could get us for this movie. I got really high hopes for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and if it's really just about Embo and Stinky the Hutt, I'm going to be severely disappointed. And I don't think that's my fault. That's not my fault at all. My expectations should be extremely high because I watched Mando Season 1, I watched Mando Season 2, and I watched Mando Season 3, and they were incredible. And so shouldn't the movie. The movie should be better. It should be better than the show. But this has me concerned. But let's finish the article, shall we? Anyway, we are a ways away from the release of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and I'm still very curious to see how fans, and more so the general public, react to the flick with so much of the film focused around Rotta the Hutt and so many callbacks to the past of Dave Filoni's works. I personally am not that excited about the movie and haven't been since it was announced, and being told details over the past month or so hasn't raised my excitement at all. Though I am still hoping to be pleasantly surprised when the film releases on May 22nd, 2026. So 15 months away, chat. 15 months away. I don't know. It's all just clickbait, Mike. Well, here's the deal. They wouldn't tell us the entire plot of this movie. There's no way. Lucasfilm is so good at keeping a secret, they would never let it out. So if Thrawn's going to be in this movie, unless they really want to hype it up, like Thrawn's in this movie, come watch this movie, there's the big blue meanie, Thrawn is in this movie. Hey, you remember that Ahsoka ending that was so great? Yeah, that's being continued in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Unless they really want to market it that way, then maybe we'll see Thrawn in a teaser trailer. But if they don't want to, then we're not going to know the real plot of this movie until it comes out on May 22nd, 2026. It might be a while till we really see what this movie has to offer. I don't know, chat. Only time will tell. But what do you think? What do you think? Tell me in the chat. Is this really going to just be a Rotta the Hutt movie? Or it's going to be a lot more than that? What do we think? All right. Let me put up a poll in the chat while we do the new trilogy. Yes or no? Do we think the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is the beginning of a new trilogy? Let's find out. And while you do, another Mike who loves Star Wars with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit, Mike. Says, haven't been able to be in the chat today. Sorry. Oh, wait. Sorry if discussed, but can we please have a weekly watch party for Andor Season 1 leading up to Andor Season 2? I have an idea, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. I don't want to do a weekly watch party on the channel because that would throw all of our live streams out of whack. We still do 3 live streams a week. Now we got to get back to doing what ifs until Andor Season 2 happens, and of course doing just regular videos about the news and stuff. I've been quite slacking when it comes to that. But what do we think of doing members-only streams, which we have yet to do any of because we didn't have enough members. Now we have a lot of members. Members-only streams of watch parties of Andor Season 1 leading up to Andor Season 2. What do we think? Well, you tell me in the chat. Can I get some good cups full of orders in the chat, please? Bumpa. Star Wars Santa says, I don't think The Mandalorian and Grogu is the start of a new trilogy. Dave's movie would be a great start to a new trilogy. Why? Why would you do 2 Mando movies back to back and have one of them just be all by its lonesome? You got to think about it in the ways of the Star Wars universe and how it's existed beforehand. There's only ever been 2 standalone movies. Every other Star Wars movie that has ever existed, that is live action, has been a trilogy. Obviously, I was referring to the Clone Wars movie. So why on earth would they make a Mandalorian and Grogu standalone film and then start a trilogy when that would just be the beginning of the trilogy anyway? Doesn't really make much sense at all, to me personally. So you're just going to make 4 Mando movies and call 3 of them a trilogy? The math not mathing. Yeah. Now you're just trying to make us members? No, I'm trying to give members more stuff to look forward to. Yes, we have the giveaway at the end of every month, which is coming up, by the way. And we got some pretty cool other stuff going on, like members-only Discord and stuff. But I want to give more offerings towards becoming a member. And members-only live streams, obviously, would be a part of that. Yeah. But I appreciate the super chat, Mike. I really, really, really do. I really do. My mic is cutting out? What? Hello, 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 hello. On my end, it looks good. Oops. What the hell? Well, now I just dragged myself across the screen. Excellent connection on my end. Hello? Maybe I was moving around too much. Maybe I got too excited, chat. Is the mic still cutting? Is the mic still cutting out, chat? It looks perfectly fine on my end. I don't know. I don't know. Cannibal the Dragon, what's up? Says, we need a Darth Krayt in Vong. Well, that would be, I don't know. That seems weird. Yeah, it might be on your end. You've buffered a couple times. Well, that's definitely on your end. That's definitely on your end. Yeah, so I think it's just your end. Yeah. Okay. Where was I? Oh, Darth Krayt in Vong. I don't see them setting up the Grisk of the Vong. I just don't see it. Like, they had the chance to in Ahsoka. I guess they still have the chance to in Ahsoka Season 2 in this new galaxy, but it seems like they're going to set up Abeloth. Now, could they also set up the Vong or the Grisk? Maybe. But I don't really see it happening. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. We shall see. Aaron says, my philosophy is the more rigid my expectations, the greater the potential for disappointment. So I try to tamper my expectations for every project. Sounds like we're in for a whack movie. I completely disagree with that. Have my expectations gotten really too high and have been disappointed? Yes. Sometimes. But the more likely scenario and the more what has happened more often is that I get my expectations really, really high and they're exceeded. And that's what's supposed to be. As a Star Wars fan, I want to be excited for what's to come next. I want to speculate about it and I want to be wrong, but I want to be wrong in a way where I'm like, holy crap, I didn't even see that coming. Perfect examples of that are The Mandalorian Season 2. Nobody saw Luke coming. And it was spectacular. Also Ahsoka. Ahsoka, like, we kind of knew that Anakin, that World Between Worlds sequence was coming, but nothing would have prepared us for how great that was. Grand Admiral Thrawn coming, Ezra coming. It was fan-freaking-tastic. My expectations were very, very high for Ahsoka, and they exceeded them like crazy. Same thing for The Bad Batch. The Bad Batch, I thought they were all going to die at the end. Season 3, I thought it was going to end in this big, sort of sad way, and it didn't, and it exceeded my expectations to a million. Like, I was not really thinking that it was going to go that way. Let's put it that way. So usually, and you guys know if you've been watching me for a while, that I get my expectations really, really high. But I still feel like they should be exceeding those. And they have been. They absolutely have been. Even Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew, I wanted Thrawn to show up because if Thrawn took over at Atten, it would make perfect sense. It would fund his army. It would fund the First Order later on down the line. It would have been perfect. But even with that, Thrawn not showing up in Skeleton Crew is a fan-freaking-tastic show. It's one of my favorite Star Wars Disney Plus shows they've ever created. And it doesn't have to rely on any cameos of that sort. And every single week, I got hyped up for that show. Every single week. And my expectations were so high every single week going in, and they were exceeded. So I don't think, as a Star Wars fan, I should have to tamper my expectations. I get, yes, going in with low expectations means that you're probably going to have a better time with it, but I'm going in with the highest of expectations because it's Star Wars, and it should exceed my expectations, and it does time and time again. Yeah. Ron Kills, what's up? Yeah. Justin says, speaking of Luke, do you think we'll get him in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? No. So as much as I do think we'll see Thrawn in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, I don't think we'll be seeing Luke in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Will Luke eventually show up in this possible trilogy? Yes. But not in the first one, I don't think. I mean, I'd be shocked if he was. It would be crazy if he was. But I doubt it. It would be cool because it's their first movie back into theaters. It would blow people's minds who don't watch the Disney Plus shows. But I don't know. Your microphone's cutting out. I don't hear it, and I don't see it on my end, and nobody else saw it either. For those of you who are hearing cutting out, close your windows and log back in. There you go. So it was on your end. I appreciate it, Holly. Yeah, so if you're hearing the popping carry, I think it's only you. You got to, like, close the stream down and then start it back up again. Probably just your internet or something. I don't know. I don't know. Unless I'm go, Mando. Is that what it sounds like? Yeah. So I think tampering your expectations to not be let down is just fake. I mean, it's wrong. Like, get hyped up. Get as hype as you want. Because if they let you down, then they let you down, and that's on them. They've really yet to let me down. Yeah. Yeah. I usually am the same way about tampering my expectations. However, this movie so far sounds concerning. I agree with that. Okay, I agree with that. To me, these leaks sound concerning. Let me clear this up. Embo coming to live action sounds great to me. Seeing Stinky the Hutt again sounds great to me. Him as a gladiator, a Hutt as a gladiator, sounds so cool. But if it's the main plot of the entire Mandalorian and Grogu movie, as Embo being the main villain, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. However, I still don't think that's what's going on. I don't think they would ever tell us the main plot of the movie before it releases, at least not to this extent. So I'm less concerned than I would be if that was really what's going on. Yeah. Mithrindel, what's up? Says, I disagree with a lot of what you say regularly, Mike, but it's great the way you work this podcast all the time. Keep the force with you. I appreciate that, Mithrindel. Mithrindil? I don't know how to pronounce it, but I appreciate it quite a bit. Here's the deal. I come on this live stream. I'm not here to persuade you to think the way that I do. I'm not here to make you think one way or another. That's never the case. What we're here to do is talk Star Wars, and we're supposed to have fun doing it. So whether you like a certain project or dislike a certain project, you might have hated the Skeleton Crew or hated Ahsoka, or I don't know, whatever you hate and I like, or I hate and you like, whatever it is. We don't have to agree on everything. It's the fun of being a Star Wars fan. Here's the deal. Think about it this way. Think about a non-Star Wars movie or show, or even like food. Food, for example. Give me a 1 into the chat if you like pineapple on pizza. Okay, wait. Maybe that was too controversial. Maybe that was way too controversial. Hang on, chat. Hang on. Let's go to something less controversial. Ketchup. I don't know why that came to mind. Ketchup. Do you like ketchup? Oh my God. Okay. No. Forget I said the thing about the pineapple pizza. No. Yeah. So there's it proves my point even still. It does still prove it proves my point even still. The way you feel about pineapple on pizza, whether you love it or you hate it, is exactly how people feel about Star Wars. It's the same thing. People have differing tastes in food as they do in Star Wars and as they do in their media in all aspects. So some people might really, really love, for example, The Phantom Menace. It's episode 1. Maybe you think The Phantom Menace is the greatest Star Wars movie ever, and maybe you hate it with a burning passion. But those are two people who both love Star Wars for different reasons. And they feel different ways about a certain project. Now take those two people and expand it to millions, if not billions, of Star Wars fans across the world. So now you have millions upon millions upon millions of people who all have varying, differing opinions on Star Wars projects. And there's hundreds of Star Wars projects, or maybe not hundreds, but tens of Star Wars projects to have a differing opinion about. So now you have billions upon billions of differing opinions all coming to one place called Star Wars. So even in our small chat of about 100 people today, there's 100 different people with 100 different opinions on 100 different Star Wars projects. So you're going to have people who disagree with each other. And I'm never here to change your mind about a certain thing or do anything like that. But we're here to just have fun, speculate, and have fun doing so. We're the people who love Star Wars, not the people who love specific details about specific projects, about a specific show or movie or whatever. when it comes to Star Wars. So yeah. Pineapple on pizza. There you have it. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world. And there's so many people with so many different opinions that you're very unlikely to find people who agree with you. But with Star Wars, the thing that we all agree on pretty much for the most part, with maybe a few of you not agreeing with me, but the majority of us agree that we love Star Wars. Maybe it's only one movie. Maybe it's only one show. Maybe it's all of it. Maybe it's only a few things. But we all love Star Wars. And that's the one thing that brought us here. That's the one thing that's got us all on this live stream right now. Yeah. Sound. Existence sound. Do you only talk in emojis? Because that would be hilarious. Yeah. I'm a meat-atarian, so no pineapple for me. That's pretty funny. And it's good with olives. Ooh. Ooh. Mike, more Rings of Power coming this year? Wait, what? Rings of Power Season 3 comes out this year? Is that true? Hang on, I gotta look this up. Rings of Power Season 3. Hang on. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, wait. Rings of Power Season 3 is expected to release in 2026, but there is no official release date yet. Where are you seeing this? Where are you seeing this? I don't see it. I don't see it yet. Got my hopes up for nothing. I Haja with the very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that, I Haja. Says, somehow Pineapple Teen returns. Nice. That was very much worth the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah. Olives on pizza? Yes. F pineapples on pizza, though. Okay. So we see where that's at. That's crazy. That is wild. Okay. Okay. Wait, what? I made a pizza with white sauce base, mozzarella, bacon, and grapes? Grapes? What? What kind of grapes? Is that like an autocorrect or something? A grape. Like a circular grape. Don't knock until you try it. Okay. I like grapes. I like pizza. Maybe. Okay. But having said that, says the guy who likes turkey neck. Okay. Okay. You got me there. You got me there. Turkey neck is bomb, though. Turkey neck is bomb, though. Yeah. All right. With that being said, let's end this poll. True, grapes are better than turkey necks. Have you tried the turkey neck? Have you tried? Don't knock till you try it. Well, let's end this poll. Do you guys think that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is the beginning of a new trilogy? 63% of you say yes, while 38% or 36%, wait, 63% say yes. Math is not mathing. 36% say no. I agree with you. I think the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is 100%, not even 99.9, 100% the start of a new trilogy, which Dave Filoni will have the second one, and they'll probably finish it off together. 100%. Yeah. Indeed. You can't even buy turkey neck in the UK? What? That's crazy. That's crazy. What would the trilogy even build up towards by the third film? Thrawn. Thrawn is the heir to the Empire. See, I don't think the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will have a lot of Thrawn in it, but it will allude to him and show his army being built. And it will establish him as a big villain, as a big threat. The second movie will establish Thrawn himself, what his intentions are, why he's the heir to the Empire, what is he doing, why is he doing it, all that stuff. give us probably some bad guys winning type deal like Empire Strikes Back where the bad guys win and it's all like leads us into the third film with a lot of trepidation and concern for our heroes. Here's the deal. Yes, you know that Luke, Leia, and Han will survive because they're in the sequel trilogy. And you know that Thrawn is not going to survive, or at least he's going to lose because the sequel trilogy doesn't have Thrawn in it. Or any mention of him in it as the heir to the Empire. And the First Order does rise to power. But here's the deal. We got Din. We got Grogu. We got Bo-Katan. We got Ahsoka Tano. We got the whole Rebels crew. We got Boba Fett. All these characters who are not in the sequel trilogy, who could very easily die in this possible MandoVerse trilogy. So I think the reason that they spent 6 years establishing these characters, bringing back legacy characters like Ahsoka, like Boba Fett, like the Rebels crew, and then establishing new ones like Cobb Vanth, Grief Karga, Din and Grogu, etc. The reason they established and brought in all those characters for all those years is because they need characters who could die. They need characters who have something on the line in this upcoming trilogy. Because if it's just Luke, Leia, and Han, we know that they all survive. We know that they all make it to the sequel trilogy. So there wouldn't be any stakes in the new trilogy. But with all these new characters, like the likelihood of Din Djarin dying is very, very high. Same with Boba Fett. Boba Fett is a legacy character, like from the original trilogy. Him dying is very likely in what projects come next. And that's cool and sad and exciting at the same time. Like, you obviously don't want to see your favorite characters die, but, the time comes. Yeah. Star Wars Order says, Mike, you should make a new channel called A Guy Who Loves Food. I definitely love food. I always say that my stomach is an endless black hole that just consumes, or an endless garbage disposal that consumes food. I could do that. I'd like that. Here's the deal. I bought this book a long time ago. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes knowledge over here, Chad. I bought this book a long time ago. It's a Star Wars cookbook. Okay? Star Wars cookbook. It's got Wookiee cookies on the front, but it's got a bunch of like Star Wars themed cooking items in here. If I can find one. It goes by meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So for breakfast, like you could have Princess Leia Danish doughs. Sure. Oh, they're just cinnamon rolls, but they're Leia's cinnamon rolls. So like you could make them. And what I want to do. You got C-3PO pancakes. Let's go to a lunch thing. Hoth chocolate. So what I want to do, once we get a sort of a new studio, or like, we get a better studio, which is coming sometime soon, sometime in the near future, a Yoda soda. What I want to do is set up a camera in like my kitchen or somewhere where I can cook food, and set up the camera and do a cooking show with only Star Wars foods. Snacks and sides. Dark side salad. Oh, main courses. Jedi juice pops. That's not a main course. What? Oh, looking the wrong way. Greedos burritos. Like, I want to go through every page in this book and make it all live and do a sort of a cooking show, Star Wars cooking show. But that's sort of very far off in the near future. But that just made me think about it. Yeah. So there you go. Would you guys want to watch that? Watch me eat food and make food? Because I want to make food and eat food. Yeah. Okay, but where was I? Oh, we do have some Andor Season 2 news I want to get to before the end of the stream. So let's do this. So Andor Season 2, we have gotten some directors who are going to be directing each episode. So apparently, what they're doing here, and they did it with similarly with the first season, they're taking individual directors and giving them entire 3-episode arcs, which makes perfect sense. It would mean that you're going to have a cohesive story for 3 episodes, because every 3 episodes in this Andor Season 2 is going to be a new year in the Star Wars timeline. So they got different directors to do different ones. So this is the sort of directors list that we've got. Now, for some reason, episode 4 is its own thing, or at least it's not confirmed who's going to be directing it. If it's staying on the same sort of trajectory or theme, then I'm guessing Alonso is going to be directing episode 4 as well. But the first 3 episodes are going to be directed by Ariel Kalman, sure, who directed Yellow Jackets and The Resort, but also doing the last 3 episodes too. So I don't know. Then you got episode 4, which is a question mark, which I'm guessing is just going to be clumped in with episode 5 and 6 because it's a 3-episode arc. I don't know, but that is Alonso. Sure. And then Janus Metz. Some interesting names here. Honestly, True Detective 000. I don't know any of them by name or I haven't seen any of these projects. But with that being said, it's still Tony Gilroy writing the show. So I still have a lot of hope when it comes to this series. I think season 2 is still going to be better than season 1. I said it before. I'll say it again. I do think it will be. And I think it'll put Andor as one of the best from start to finish shows we've ever seen. At least I hope so. But I guess only time will tell with that. That's the little Andor season 2 news we had. Here's the deal. In about a month and a half or 2 months-ish, we're going to start getting Andor season 2 trailers and news and plot leaks and all this stuff just every single day. Just like we did before The Acolyte, just like we did before Skeleton Crew, every single day we'll be getting a new trailer, we'll be getting new news, all that stuff for weeks and weeks and weeks. Right now, it's sort of this little lull point, and in this lull, we're getting crazy other Star Wars news like Ryan Gosling, not Reynolds, Ryan Gosling being in, possibly coming to star in Star Wars in Shawn Levy's movie. And that stuff is great. I love to go over the Star Wars news. I love to get hyped up and look at the future, what projects are coming with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and all that stuff. That's pretty cool too. I also love doing the what ifs during these sort of breaks and lulls. And with that being said, I actually want to get started on the next what if. So if you weren't around the channel before Skeleton Crew, I was doing what ifs pretty much every Sunday, if not every other Sunday. I think I might go to every other Sunday because it allows me more time to make a better what if. But I like to sort of spitball with you guys about the best possible what if to do every week. So with that being said, what if do you want to see me do? Now, I like to do sort of the more not seen before, the better. Like, obviously people have done so many what ifs, like what if Mace Windu survived, or what if, like, the simple stuff that maybe I've even done myself. But let me take a look here. Let's see what we did before. I honestly don't even remember, which is crazy. So if you come to the channel here and you come to playlists, one of the playlists is what ifs. I don't want to play them all. Hang on, let me do this. Can I just look at them? Oh, view playlist. Okay. So here we go. So the what ifs we got from start to finish. Well, the first one I did was awesome. It was the best performing one by far, like 60,000 views. But it was what if Princess Leia made it to Obi-Wan on Tatooine in A New Hope. And the reason I think this one did so much better than the other ones is because of, oh, that's cool. Because of the fact that nobody else really did this one, or at least not this specific version of this one. So like the other ones are more known ones, like what if Qui-Gon survived and trained Anakin? That's been done before. What if Grogu stayed with Luke Skywalker in the Book of Boba Fett? I feel like that's been done before. What if Luke joined Vader in The Empire Strikes Back? That one did well, but it's been done before. What if Padme didn't die of sadness? That's been done before. And I like this one a lot, actually. What if Darth Maul, killed Palpatine on Mandalore? So, with that being said, what are some what ifs you guys want to see? What are some what ifs that you guys want to see? What if you watch The Fifth Element? Oh my God. In all seriousness, what do you guys want to actually see? What if Luke Skywalker's school actually worked? Interesting. So what if Ben Solo and the First Order didn't come to be? Well, really nothing would have happened then. What if Luke and Leia were switched places at birth? Interesting. I kind of like that one. Let's write that one down. Get my pen over here. Here, we'll write some of these down. What if Luke plus Leia were switched? I like it. One that I came up with the other day that we came up with, I think, on live stream was, and I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah. What if Snoke was actually Darth Plagueis? I like that one quite a bit because it would change the entire outcome of the prequel trilogy, sequel trilogy, sorry. It would involve Palpatine not returning. It would involve Plagueis somehow surviving for all those years. And it would be pretty cool. I like that one a lot, actually. What else we got? What if Luke went to Toshi's station and picked up those power converters? It's pretty good. What if Maul didn't get cut in half? What if Maul beat Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon? Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. What if Maul beat Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan? I like that one. I like it. What if Leia had twins? Well, that's kind of like the legend story, but yeah. What if Yoda and Grogu met each other? What do you mean by that? Well, if he's his dad, I'm sure they met each other and he was at the Jedi Temple for a while. What if Palpatine returned? Oh, wait, sorry, that happened already. Funny. Yeah, no. What if Mother Talzin survived? Interesting. I really don't know what she would do. But I kind of like it. What if Anakin actually killed Palpatine and didn't turn? What if Palpatine died in Revenge of the Sith? Interesting. I like that. What if... Or what if they put him under trial? What if Mace Windu agreed to put Palpatine under trial? Well, I'll write down both. What if Palpatine stood under trial? And what if Anakin killed Palps in Revenge of the Sith? I like it. I like it. What if Obi-Wan killed Anakin on Mustafar? I like that one a lot. I feel like that one's been done a lot, though. Obi-Wan killed Annie on Mustafar. I like it. What if Grogu qualified for the American Idol? Holy shit, that's a good one. What if Yoda was the Dark Lord himself and took over the Republic? What? That's too crazy. What if Dune was never written? Oh, wait. We would have never gotten Star Wars? Well, not just Dune. A lot of stuff went into making Star... Like, yes, if Dune wasn't created, then Star Wars probably would have looked a lot different because he took a lot of inspiration off of it. But the same can be said about, like, spaghetti westerns and even serial comics and stuff like that. Yeah. What if Jar Jar was a Sith Lord? I've thought about doing that one a lot, but it's kind of more of a jokes one, you know? What if we didn't see Snoke? Palpatine transferred himself into Vader's helmet and was controlling Kylo with the helmet? That's a little crazy one because Snoke not existing is kind of crazy. I like it, though. I like it. What if Luke in the sequels was a clone? I like that one. What if Luke on Octu was a clone? Honestly, some fans still think that this is a possibility in reality. If he was a clone, and that could, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I guess it is, but you know what I mean. You guys should see how bad my handwriting is. I'm not even going to show you because it's that bad, but I am also just scribbling these in as quick as possible. So I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 really good, 7 really good ones. So I think that's a good start for now. But I like it. I like it. What if Smilo Ren was alive during and was a part of the Revenge of the Sith? Well, here's the thing. Kymir, Smilo Ren, the stranger, whatever you want to call him, it's possible that he could survive that long. Because if he's really Vanestra I'm not... Never mind. The Acolyte. Season 2. Now, we don't know how old the stranger is. He could have survived for hundreds of years because Vanestra Rose survives for hundreds of years. So, yeah. that old thing. Yeah. What if Ahsoka never left the Order? I have thought about that one too. That's a good one. Yeah. What if Anakin left the Order and married Padme, running away from Naboo? That would be cool. What if Kylo didn't die? Interesting. What if Luke met Obi-Wan instead of... wait, what if Luke and Obi-Wan met Pelimoto instead of Han? That's a pretty good one. I like that a lot, actually. What if an Ewok became a Sith Lord? Oh my god, that's a little crazy. All right, well, I appreciate all those great theories and what ifs and stuff like that, but we do have to get on out of here. So, final thoughts on the Ryan Gosling situation here. Let's loop it all back to the beginning. Ryan Gosling coming to Star Wars. Are we yay or are we nay, chat? What do we think before we get on out of here? Let me end it. Put that there. There we go. That's better. What do we think, chat? Yay or nay? We're pretty divided on this. I like Ryan Gosling as not Reynolds. Ryan Gosling as a actor. I don't want a well-known actor in Star Wars. Well, you already have that quite a bit. Not as a main character usually, but Skeleton Crew just had Jude Law in it. And like we mentioned earlier, yes, your main characters are nobodies like Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, but you have side characters like a Alec Guinness or a Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu in the prequel trilogy. You don't like that either. Interesting. So you don't like anybody in Star Wars at all? Get it? Yeah. Well, I guess only time will tell as we get more news about this Shawn Levy movie. If it truly is going to be the next movie to go into production, I'm sure we'll get an update at Star Wars Celebration. But until then, smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not yet. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video in my pretty face or something, the recommended feed of yours. I got a shout out to you guys because the shorts that we post almost every day on the channel are doing extremely well. So I appreciate it so much. There's a short again coming out today at 5 p.m. Pretty much every day at 5 p.m. There's a short unless I don't know, something crazy happens. But pretty much every day there's a short coming out at 5 p.m. on YouTube. If you do not follow me on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter, that I'm on there too, and I post every day on there too. So watch out for that stuff. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys so much more than you'll ever know. Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. How many likes we at? 74. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Not too bad. Not the greatest, but not too bad. But I appreciate it. Smash a freaking like on your way out if you have not already. And may the force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. Ryan Gosling, Ryan, not Reynolds, Gosling, coming to Star Wars, possibly. Mandalorian and Grogu, possibly not having Thrawn in it. Oh, my God. We'll find out. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But until then, I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.